notice, and this is the typical regular copyright. We continue with mathematics syllabus for CSEC 2018 to 2027. Schedule of videos, Section 1, Number Theory and Computation. All 33 videos from that section has been published on YouTube as of 14th of October 2024. I am currently working on these 12 videos on consumer arithmetic, and hopefully by the 31st of October 2024, I would have those published on YouTube. Then in November 2024, sets, December 2024, measurement, January 2025, statistics, February 2025, algebra, March 2025, relations, functions, and graphs, April 2025, geometry and trigonometry, and May 2025, hopefully by mid-May, vectors and matrices, and that will cover all the objectives for this syllabus. As I have already pointed out, I have divided section 1 into 33 videos, all of which have been made available on YouTube in their entirety. This section forms the foundation on which the rest of the syllabus is based. 33 videos. Please view all 33 videos carefully from section 1 and make sure you know them very well if you intend to continue with the rest of the syllabus. One reminder, you need to know the times tables from 2 to 12, as calculators are not allowed in paper 1. Section 2 has 12 videos. Objectives 1 to 9 would each be covered in a single video. So that would be 9 objectives, 9 videos. And objective 10, I had to split that in 3 videos. So that would be video 10, video 11, and video 12. Right now, this video here deals with objective 6, simple interest. Keep in mind that not all of these videos will be available on YouTube in their entirety. At least part of every video will be on YouTube, but all the complete videos will not be available on YouTube. This one, objective 6, simple interest, this complete video is available on YouTube. So we have completed those 3 objectives in this section. Objective 4 and objective 5. Right now, I am at objective 6, solve problems involving simple interest. And some of the things you need to know about are principal, time, rate, and amount, what those are. And we still have to go up to objective 10. So we are here. 2.6, solve problems involving simple interest. Now, objective 7 is solve problems involving compound interest, and that is a little more complicated. Formulae may be used, and also you are encouraged to use calculators, but that is objective 7. Right now, so we will blank that out for the time being. So we are at objective 6. Well, principal, which is designated capital P, uppercase P, is the initial amount of money borrowed or lent or invested or deposited in a fixed account. It has to do with the initial amount of money. Time, T, lowercase t, is the length of time the money is borrowed or lent or invested, and that time is counted in years. R is the annual percentage rate at which the principal will increase. And amount, uppercase A, is the principal plus the total interest at the end of the agreed upon time period. Simple interest, SI, is the interest earned on the principal amount. Interest earned on the principal amount. It is used mainly for small, short-term loans. So if you borrow money from a bank or a credit union, etc., this initial money is called the principal, as we just talked about. You normally would sign an agreement to pay back the principal plus a charge or a fee for using somebody else's money. Now, this charge or fee is called interest. It is normally stated as percentage of the principal per year, example 8% per year, and then the number of years that you take the loan for is stated, 5 years, until you pay off everything, that is to say, the principal and the interest. Conversely, if you deposit money in a bank or a credit union, etc., you will gain interest since somebody else is now using your money. What happens is these institutions, they will pay you a small interest, let us say 4%, and then they will take your money that you deposit in your account in their business, and then they will lend that to somebody else and charge the borrower a higher percentage, say 9%. Now, there are two ways to calculate interest. One is using the simple interest method, and the other is the compound interest method. In this video, we will calculate simple interest. Let us say that Mr. Harris borrowed $6,500 from his credit union at an annual percentage rate, which is called an APR, of 7%. This percentage here is redundant, but the percentage is there just to make sure we are clear. 7% for 5 years. So if you put that in a table in Excel, at the end of the first year, the loan, the amount borrowed, is $6,500. The percentage rate is 7. Year 1, the interest would be $455. That is to say, if you find 7% of $6,500, you will get $455. At the end of year 2, $6,500 is still the principal, 7%, this is year 2, and so another $455 interest is due. Year 3, same principal, same percentage per year, but it is now year 3, and $455 more. Year 4, same thing happens, and year 5, same thing happens. Now, so that at the end, you would have borrowed $6,500 at a percentage rate of 7% for 5 years, and so your total interest calculated annually is $2,275. Now, the amount will be the principal plus the interest, So if you add those two, you get $8,775. And then remember, this is over a 5-year span, so that would be 60 months. You divide this amount by 60, and the monthly payment that Mr. Harris would need to make is $146.25. Now, this is all calculated upfront. So Mr. Harris would know exactly how much he has to pay. So at the end of 5 years, he would have paid off the interest and the principal. Now, interest is calculated each year, then they are all added to give the final total interest. Interest is calculated on the principal only. Now, later on, when we do compound interest, you will find that this, let us say, instead of borrowing, let us say you deposited $6,500 at 7% per year for 5 years. At the end of the first year, you will get this amount of interest. Now that will be taken and added to this. So the second year, your principal would grow, your money would grow, and so on. But that is compound interest, and that is what we will do in the next video. For this video, we are just dealing with simple interest. In this example, we have used the simple interest method of calculating interest. There is a simple formula that can be used to calculate simple interest. Obviously, for simple interest, the formula should be simple, I would think. So the formula is this. Simple interest is equal to principal multiplied by rate, annual rate, multiplied by time in years, divide by 100. So P is for principal, R is for rate in percentage, T is for time in years. So let us do over this one up here. Simple interest is equal to the principal, which is 6,500, times the rate, which is 7%, times the years, which would be 5 years. Put all of that over 100, and when you work that out, you get $2,275, which is exactly what we had up here when we were calculating it year by year. So we are required to use this formula here. So this is the formula. Simple interest is equal to the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time over 100. Now, I did tell you that you would be given a formula sheet with the formulae that you may have to use. Now, this is the formula sheet that I have here from 2019, May, June. You may not be able to see that clearly, so I will divide it in half and show the top half and the below half. The simple interest formula is not on this formula sheet. Maybe because the formula is so easy, CXC expects you to learn it and know how to use it. So the first half of that formula sheet, notice there is no simple interest formula here, none. And the second half of that same formula sheet, again, there is no simple interest formula here. So I am letting you know up front that you need to learn this one and know how to use it. Now, if you find this video useful and interesting, please like and share. That is, like and share. You may also consider subscribing to this channel. As I've pointed out before, it doesn't cost you anything and it means a lot to me. So, the formula that you need to learn and use for this objective, we saw it before. Let's look at it again. Simple interest is equal to the principal multiply by the annual rate multiply by the time in years over 100. So we just said principal. P is for principal, R is for rate in percent, and T is for time in years. Example 1. Mr. Richards borrowed $2,000 for a period of 2 years at an annual rate of 8% to be repaid in equal monthly payments. You are to calculate the simple interest on this loan, the amount to be paid, and the monthly payment. Now remember what we said the formula is. So the simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time over 100. Let's substitute the numbers we have. $2,000, that's the principal, multiply by the rate, which is 8%, multiply by the time in years, which is 2 years, over 100. When you work that out, you get that the simple interest over the 2-year span is $320. Now the amount is the simple interest plus the principal. So 2,000 plus the interest we just calculated is $2,320. Your monthly payment, of course, will be $2,320 divided by 24 months, 2 years, and that would be $96.67. So Mr. Richards knows that for every month for the next 2 years, he would have to pay $96.67 to pay off the loan and the interest. Time here now is in months because we asked for monthly payments. Example 2. Mrs. Jack borrowed $3,500 for a period of 3 years at an annual rate of 7% to be repaid in equal monthly payments. So calculate the simple interest, the amount to be paid, and the monthly payment. Now this is very similar to the one we just did. So this is our formula. Simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time over 100. Let's substitute the numbers we are given. The principal is $3,500. The rate is 7% annually. And the time is 3 years, over 100. And we get that the simple interest is $735. That's just the interest. Now the amount to be paid back would be the principal plus the interest. And that would be $4,235. And so the monthly payment would be $4,235 divided by 36 months because it's over a 3-year period. And that would be $117.64 payment each month. Let's look at a slight variation now. Maria wants to borrow $1,500 and is not prepared to pay more than $250 simple interest at a rate of 5% per annum. So how long will it take for her to pay off this loan? State your answer to the next higher month so that if you get, let us say you do a calculation and you get 6 months and 3 days, you would have to call that 7 months. Or you get 25 months and 20 days, you would have to call that 26 months. So you will state your answer to the next higher month and what will be her monthly payment. So now, if simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time over 100, you take that 100 and carry it over on this side, and you get the simple interest times 100 is equal to principal times rate times time. Well, we want to find out time. So we will move this 2 on the other side, or you could say you divide both sides by principal times rate. and you get simple interest times 100 over principal times rate. We now substitute the numbers we are given. 250, that's the interest she wants to pay, no more than that, times 100 over the principal, which would be 1,500, multiplied by the rate, which is 5%. You work that out and you get 3.333 years. That will work out to exactly 40 months. Now her monthly payments will be the amount, which will be the principal plus the interest, principal plus the interest, divide by 40 months, we said. And so she would have to pay $43.75 every month for 40 months to pay off a loan of $1,500 at 5% interest, so that she will not pay more than $250 interest. All right. Now, one of the things you need to learn is to verify your answer if you can. So let's check our answer. Let's do a little reverse engineering. Let us say that we want to calculate the simple interest. We know the principal, we know the rate, we know the time. Now, what do we get? Do we get back 250? Yes. So we know that this 40 months is correct. Example 4, Harry is thinking of borrowing $4,500. He wants to pay it off in 4 years and does not want the simple interest to be more than $750. So we'll use that as our borderline. At what interest rate will he be able to do this? State your answer to 2 decimal places. What will be his monthly payment? So remember we said up here that simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time over 100. Now, if we cross multiply, we would get simple interest times 100 is equal to P times R times T. This time, we want to find the interest rate. So R would be equal to the simple interest times 100 over principal times time. We substitute the numbers we are given. 750 times 100 over 4,500 times 4. That's 4 years. And the rate will be 4.17% annually. The monthly payment will be the amount, so that will be the 4,500 plus the 750 to be the amount, divide by 48, 4 years, and that will give us $109.38 monthly repayment. Now we can check our answer again. Let us say we didn't know the simple interest. We know the principal, we know the rate, we know the time. We calculate the simple interest and we get $750.60, which is very close to the $750 that Harry was thinking of paying as interest. And that should suffice for this objective. It's fairly simple. So we looked at objective 6, solve problems involving simple interest. We know what the principal is, what the time is, what the rate is, and what the amount is. And we can calculate simple interest. Simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time over 100. You have to learn that formula and know how to use it. It will not be given on a formula sheet. So solve problems involving simple interest. And that brings us to the end of objective 6 in section 2.